Begin on all fours. Vertically stack your shoulders over your wrists, hips over the knees. Beginning to ground strongly through anything that's touching the yoga mat, all of your foundation. From the foundation, energetically draw up to the core, rooting navel to spine, as you press the back of the heart and the back of the head toward the sky. Moving into cat-cow. Initiate the movement with the pelvis. Tilt the tailbone, drop the belly, draw the chest forward, and lift the gaze. As you exhale, tuck the tailbone, round the spine, gaze in. Inhale, tilt the tailbone, drop the belly, draw the chest forward, lift the gaze. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, round the spine, gaze in. 3 more times with your breath. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And one more on your own. Following cat pose, return to a neutral spine. Step your right leg back, energizing the muscles of the leg, and step the left leg back as well. Push strongly to the heels as you energetically root through the crown of the head, extending it forward. Lift the sitting bones into your first downward facing dog. Let's adjust. Bend the knees deeply. Send the belly back toward your quads. Send the sitting bones up toward the sky, and then root the femur bones back in space. Notice the length in your spine as you press strongly to your hands and keep that float to the hips. Following your next exhale, lift the sitting bones high and slowly step to the top of the mat, maintaining a neutral pelvis as you go. Inhale, lengthen, fingertips to mat, legs straight and strong. Exhale, bend the knees, hinging at the hips to fold. Ground the feet. Inhale, rise all the way up, arms overhead. Exhale, hands to chest, gaze to fingertips. Surya, Namaskara A. Inhale, reach your arms overhead. Exhale, hinge to the hips, deep fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Plant your palms, step to downward facing dog. Inhale, slowly shift forward to plank pose. Exhale, lower knees, chest, pelvis, and lengthen through the tops of the feet. With your hands underneath your shoulders, press down through the legs and hands, lifting the chest forward and up through cobra pose. Soften the shoulders, soften the gaze. Exhale, lead the chest forward and down, tuck the toes, return through hands and knees, and lift your sitting bones through downward facing dog. Focus now on the foundation of the hands, spreading your fingers wide apart, rooting through the thumb, index finger, and the webbing between the two. As you exhale, step your feet slowly to the top of the mat. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, bend the knees, deep fold. Ground the feet. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, hands to chest. Round 2, inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, slow shift to plank pose, either continuing to work with knees, chest, pelvis, and cobra, or shift to the tips of the toes, lower halfway to chaturanga. Flip the feet, press the palms, and lift the chest forward through upward facing dog. Feel the triceps wrap back as the collarbones broaden across the chest. To transition, tuck the toes, float the hips, and return through downward facing dog. This time focusing on the feet. Ground strongly through the four corners of each foot. It's okay if the heels are lifted here. Focus on the sitting bones staying high. And as you next exhale, bend the knees. Either walk or this time step 1 foot at a time to the top. Lengthen and exhale, fold. Lengthen to rise. Hands to chest. Surya Namaskara B. Step your feet together, inch of space between the heels. Big lift through the arms. Exhale, descend through chair pose. Scoop the tailbone down and draw the navel energetically back to the spine, engaging your core. Exhale, fold fully. Inhale, halfway lift. Take the feet beneath the hips once again, and from the core, float the right foot back. Drop the back knee, release to the top of the foot, and give a push to the top of the foot to stretch the right hip flexor as you lift the arms, finding low lunge. Wrap the left hip back. Exhale, plant your palms, return to a lunge and strong step to plank pose. Lower strongly, rise up through your choice of back bend, and return to downward facing dog, enjoying one deep round of breath. On your exhale, bend your knees. Either walk, step, or this time a soft hop to the top of the mat. Following an exhale, float the left foot to the back of the mat. Drop the knee, release the top of the foot, and give a strong press, this time stretching the left hip flexor. Float the arms into the overhead plane as you pull the right hip back in space. Exhale, release the hands. From lunge, step to plank pose. On an exhale, lower. Inhale, rise through back bend. Exhale, return to downward facing dog. This time, focus your efforts on balancing the weight of the body evenly across your 4 points of foundation. On your exhale, bend your knees, walk, step, or lightly hop to the top of the mat. Inhale, we lengthen. Exhale, bend the knees, float the arms through chair pose once again. Ground the feet, stand tall as you inhale. Exhale, hands to chest. Round 2. Inhale, reach the arms overhead and keep them there as you descend through the legs, chair pose. Engage the core. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Feet are now beneath the hips. Float the right foot back. Take your time. As you energetically root from the pelvis down into the legs, find strength to lift the arms into the overhead plane, stretching from the pelvis up to the fingertips. Square the hips toward the short edge of the mat. Breathe. Exhale, step to plank and lower strongly. Inhale, rise through back bend. Exhale, downward facing dog. Bend the knees. Find the top of the mat. Lengthen as you inhale. From your core, float the left foot back. From the pelvis, root down to the feet. From the pelvis, stretch up to the arms. Exhale, release the hands. Step to plank. Lower. Rise through your back bend. And return to downward facing dog. A strong press to the palms, ears in line with biceps, small lift to the hips. Again, in an adjustment, bend the knees, send the belly to the quads, and then move your femur bones back in space. Notice the length in your spine. Bend the knees, arriving to the top of the mat. Inhale, lengthen, and step the feet together. Exhale, descend through chair pose. Ground strongly through your feet to rise all the way up. Exhale, hands to chest, gaze to fingertips.